Hello, dear friends, dear brothers, sisters, and co-fellow spiritual aspirants on the path of self-abidance, or on the path of realizing your true nature of absolute happiness. So, this is episode 14 in our special series to assist us, to realize our true nature. The title that we have given to this episode is very interesting. It is I am the self, meaning that I, or you who is watching this video, is the ultimate, absolute, spaceless, timeless reality. The whole purpose of making this video is that by watching this video, you're able to gain this knowledge. You see, not only gain the knowledge, but also gain the experience that you see whether it is at the absolute level. When we say absolute level, meaning at the level of the light of consciousness, or it is at the universal level, at the level of space and time, or it is at our own individual level as we sit. I make this video, you're watching this video. You see, at any of these levels, you are actually able to realize that you are the absolute, you are the self, you are that ultimate, spaceless, timeless entity. So just once again, let us look at this figure 1 about this particular spiritual discussion. You see, it says in brown at the top that you are the ultimate reality, right? So meaning that actually you are the source of everything. This is the purpose of making this video, and hopefully by the time we have finished, by using a number of practical examples which we can think, which we can feel, which we can apply in our day-to-day life, you will be actually able to realize this. All right. So now let us move on, to a very potent example. You see, when we look back to the teachings of ancient sages, like Yoga Vasishtha, he was actually the guru of Lord Rama, and had given about 40,000 dialogues on reality, right? And then coming back to about the 7th, 8th century, down that lineage of these sages is Gaudapada, right? Gaudapada was Shankaracharya's guru, right? And then if we come down to our present times, the modern times, just very recently, has been my own Satguru, or my teacher who led me to the realization of this knowledge, is Sage Ramana, right? So you see, what is their key teaching? The key teaching of all these is that for us to realize our true nature, the question has to be put. You see, the question has to be put, who am I? Right? Now, when you see this question is actually put, you see, when you say, who am I? The very simple answer to that is that, look, I am Anilji, right? When you put it to yourself, who am I? It'll come, say, I am Jack, or I am Renu, whatever your name is, because you know yourself as this individual. It's just naturally, subconsciously taken for granted. Who am I? I am Anilji, right? So now you see, let us put the next question here. You see, the next question in this, the method taught by the sages is that actually who is telling you that you are actually Anilji, right? Very interesting. Now look at it. There is no one there, right? There can be various discussions. The parents gave the name, or that is how you came to know. But look at it. Look at it right here as we are communicating. And this has been taught by these sages, that the only one who is telling you subconsciously, naturally, what we call as the Sahaj Sthiti, or the natural state, the one who is telling you naturally who you are. When I say I'm Anilji, it's only me. It's only me who is actually telling that I am Anilji. But then you see, who is this me? Who is this I who is telling that I am Anilji? Because I'm conscious that I'm Anilji, right? So this I, or this me who is telling this, is none other than the light of consciousness. Now we come to the very important point of this discussion and exercise. You see, this me, or this I, is the light of consciousness, but the principal question here is who? You see, look at this very carefully. Look at this very carefully, that who became the light of consciousness? Who is the source of this light of consciousness? So we'll go to figure 2 here and look at this figure 2. You see, here is the answer. You see, who is the source of this light of consciousness? If we move from the arrows, the 3 arrows in green coming down, you move back, the answer is that I am the spaceless, timeless entity. See, you are the self, because you are the source of this light of consciousness. You see how beautiful actually it has been explained by the sages, and how practical it is. You see, you are the spaceless, timeless entity. You are the self. From there flows your other changeless identity of being the light of consciousness. You are the source of the light of consciousness. And you see, you have the proof of that at the individual level, because you are conscious of whatever you need to be conscious of. But the main question which is there is, who am I? You see, I am Anilji. You're always subconsciously knowing it. That is the link. You see, this is the link, as you see in figure 1, that I am the spaceless, timeless entity, and this I am, the spaceless, timeless entity, is the source of consciousness. Okay, so from here, let us now look at figure 2. Sorry, this is not figure 2. We have already done figure 1 and figure 2. Let us now look at figure 3. Now this is another methodology by means of which we can realize our true nature. You see, in this figure 3 basically is spelt out the course of our evolution, right? So if we start tracing, you see, how actually we have evolved, so then you see, look at it. Initially was this spaceless, timeless entity, right? From this spaceless, timeless entity, this is, the very title that of this video is that I am the self. And the self, the self is the spaceless, timeless entity. From there, first of all, what has come forth? First of all, what has come forth is the light of consciousness, right? And then if you watch the previous videos, is that divine attention. And then the principle of creation, preservation, and dissolution. So from the spaceless, timeless entity came the light of consciousness. From the light of consciousness has come the Trinity, you see, creator, preserver, and destroyer. As it is shown in green on this diagram, you see what has come forth is creation, preservation, and dissolution. Then after the creator, preserver, and destroyer, you know, the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the Trinity, what you call it, has come forth, has come space and time. And after space and time came the different planes of creation, right? The Adi plane, or the first plane. And then this is the plane of light. And then came the monads, the sparks of light, right? The next plane called the Anupadik plane. You see, these monads, they say, are 65 billion in number, and we are actually a monad, a spark of this light, right? And then came the plane of spirit, then came the plane of intuition, then came the plane of thought, then came the plane of feeling, and then came forth us, the individuals, right here as we are actually sitting, thinking, watching, right? So you see, look at this long chain, and when I reverse, you see, when I say that the individual came, of course this individual consists of the body of spirit, the body of intuition, the body of thought, the body of feelings, and then this physical body, which is connected to these five planes. You know, your higher nature is the body of spirit and intuition, and your lower nature is thoughts, feelings, and this physical body, right? Now you see, going back to this figure 3, look at it. Even though we have traveled from that spaceless, timeless entity, our true nature, right down through the light of consciousness to creation, preservation, and dissolution, to the individual, and then you see how it reverses. Look, there's an arrow going up, leading to creation, preservation, dissolution, leading to the light of consciousness, leading back to us. So you see, even though, you see, look at this very carefully, even though we have traveled through such a long phase of evolution, you know, trillions and trillions of light years, still the connection is there. You see, this is a direct contact, even when tracing through evolution, to our true nature. Still directly and visually you can actually realize, just by this small explanation and by this figure 3, that you are the spaceless, timeless entity. So you see, that is why I said at the start, this is a very profound and a deep spiritual discussion. You really have to ponder. You have to ponder upon, you see, these examples which have been communicated or transmitted by the spiritual hierarchies like Sage Ramana and the Rishi, right? And this is the ultimate realization. This is what you have to finally realize, that you are actually the self. I am the self. I am the spaceless, timeless entity. Okay, now let us move on to figure 4. This is a very interesting figure. You see, when you look at this spaceless, timeless entity, which is myself, now you look at this thing, you see. You look at one thing, as you are actually watching this video, right? As you watch the video, it's your normal day-to-day experience you see that this view always appears in front of you. You see, the view is always there, isn't it? Divine will from the spirit body acting on the divine intuition. Intuitively, the view always appears, right? Now, what I'm stating here is that looking at this figure 4, you see, if you look at it at the absolute level, then this light of consciousness is actually like the universal witness, isn't it? The universal witness which witnesses or is the screen of this entire space-time manifestation. But when you look at that middle line, it is written as universal and individual witness. You see, actually when you look at it very carefully, there is no gap at all, because this universal witness is also the individual witness. Because you see, are you not the individual witness? You cannot take away the fact, and look how practical and how clear actually it is that actually you see you are the individual witness, because you are the witness of your thoughts, you are the witness of your feelings, you are the witness of your own individual identity, and even now all that you do is you witness these individual images in this view. So look at it very carefully. You see, you who is the self, or when I say I who am the self, is the universal witness of everything, and also the individual witness, right? Witness of what? Look at the third line in this figure 4, witness of the view. You see? So look at it, how very simple it is and how very clear it is. By knowing the unity of the universal witness and the individual witness being the same, directly who is the witness? It is you who became the universal witness. Who is the individual witness of this view? That is you, the self, the spaceless, timeless entity. So okay, so we'll finish here with figure 4. Now you see, let us move on to figure 5. Figure 5 is a very interesting figure that again you see connected to our last exercise or discussion, that there is the spaceless, timeless entity, right? Now everything appears in the view, right? Everything is actually appearing in the view, and then you see what we are actually trying to look into here is, look at the third line, the second arrow below that, and in blue you see appears as everything in the view. It is the spaceless, timeless entity, you see, that is actually appearing as everything in the view. It is a substratum of the view. Whatever appears on the view is also the spaceless, timeless entity. You see, there are various examples that actually have been given to explain this. If you remember, there was an episode that all is self, all is you, all is the spaceless, timeless entity. So, looking at few examples from there, you see, if you look at an ocean, right? Everyone has seen the ocean. What is happening on the ocean? There are waves. There are waves bobbing up and down, right? But these individual waves, you see, that is the point. On the surface, from the changeless surface of the ocean comes the change. You see, the creation, preservation and dissolution of the wave, right? But the sea or the waves are made up of water only. This is a beautiful example actually. Then let us say take another example. If you look at wood, right, it doesn't matter whether it's a oak tree, a pine tree, or you have got what you call different types of wooden furniture. You see, if there is no wood, there is no pine tree, there is no banyan tree, there is no guava tree, there is no mango tree, right? And there can be no bedhead made from wood, no chair, no table made from wood. So again, even though it is the same wood, it appears in different names, forms and shapes. You see, you have actually got to realize this. Let me take one more example of gold. Gold appears as a necklace around the neck, as a nose stud, as you see earrings, as bangles, But in the end, these are all different forms, names and forms of different shapes of ornaments of gold, right? But the underlying reality is still gold. You see, the underlying reality is only you. The underlying reality is the spaceless, timeless entity from where came the light of consciousness, in which this entire process of names, forms, functions has actually come, right? So look at it. You see, from here you can directly trace. You can actually directly see from this example of that all is self, whatever appears, you see, in the view, you see, that same spaceless, timeless entity, looking at this figure 5, that only appears as everything that is appearing in the view, right? So this was another methodology that we used to arrive at the same reality. Okay, now we will move on to our last exercise on this, and this is figure 6. Look, this is a very simple figure that I actually made to explain that you are the absolute reality. You are the self. I am the self. You see, the self is that spaceless, timeless entity, your true nature, right? Now what happens? Look at it. You see, from here is appearing this mighty principle underlying everything, which is appearance and disappearance. Look at it. Let us, ponder on this a little bit, right? You see, from the spaceless, timeless entity, you see, everything appears. What is written in orange? What is this everything? Appears the light of consciousness, appears the principle of creation, preservation and dissolution, appears this Trinity, the creator, preserver and destroyer, then appears the space and time, and then you see appear the different planes of creation, right? And then appear the different bodies of creation, like the spirit body, body of intuition, your mental body, the source of your thoughts, your body of emotions, the body of feelings, right? It's the same body called the astral body, and then the physical body. So, and thus actually appears the individual. And now you see, let us take this a little bit deeper. Everything actually appears, and then as we shift back, look at the blue arrow. You see, everything is then going back actually, or disappearing into this spaceless, timeless entity. So you see two things. Actually, you are the spaceless, timeless entity. From you appears everything, and into you disappears everything. And then we can add one more thing here. Look at this. Who actually appears and disappears as this very principle of appearance and disappearance? You know what? Look at it. The answer is very simple to this. You alone. You see, you only are this appearance and disappearance. You are also that entity, appearance and disappearance, which underlies everything from the light of consciousness to the individual and back. Right? So here you directly realize, you see, your true nature, that you and you alone are the self, the spaceless, timeless entity. This is the ancient, deepest and profound knowledge given by the sages. My own sage Ramana, and my own Rishi, Master Byan Sadhuno, and this is their direct experience. This is what has been taught to me. This is what I live as. You see, this is what pushes the spirit within, you see, and gives that power, you see, to make such videos. All right. So we'll take away this last figure now. You see, now let's ponder just a little bit more on this appearance and disappearance as we come to the conclusion of this spiritual discussion. Look at it. Look at your everyday experience. You see the awake, dream, sleep cycle. They come and they go, they appear and they disappear. Look at your cycle of reincarnation. You see, you are born, you live, you die, you lead your life in the astral body, astral plane, then in the mental body, in the mental plane, and then you are reborn again. You see, again this birth, death cycle follows appearance and disappearance. Look at your thoughts. They appear and disappear. Look at your feelings. They appear and disappear. Look at any physical activity you do. It appears and disappears. So you see, everything in our normal individual day-to-day experience is underlying, you see, this appearance and disappearance. But look at it. You are ever present. Why? Because you are the source of this appearance and disappearance. You are actually, you see, that very appearance and disappearance, that entity also is you, but you are ever present. While all this, everything is appearing and disappearing, but you don't go anywhere. You are always there. So you see, this also directly leads to realizing that you are because ever present, and in you everything is appearing and disappearing. You are the self. I am the self. I am the spaceless, timeless entity. All right. Now I'm going to explain something to you, coming to the conclusion, the end of this spiritual discussion. You see, look at this very carefully. This is what you've really got to try, practice, examine it at the level of thoughts, feel it at the level of feelings, and actually see it practically. You see, look at it. The view is there in front of you, right? This huge view of space and time in which everything is there is within the view. And look at it, you are also in the view. Now, you see, look at this. Every human being, every sun, every star, every alien, the super spiritual world, the spiritual world, and our lower world, you see, our solar system. Look at it. Everything, you see, anything which is there at the absolute level, or the level of consciousness, or at the universal level, at the level of space and time, at the level of the creator, preserver and destroyer, the Trinity, or anything which is there at the individual level is in this view, right? If you say, oh, I'm sitting here in Sydney, or you are sitting in, say, Europe, in Brussels, I've got friends all over the world who I guide. It doesn't matter. You see, wherever a person may be, however they may be, whatever their thoughts may be, whatever their feelings may be, you see, whatever physical activity they do, they are all in your view. Now just stretch your imagination here. You see, if everything is in your view, That means that you are in everything. Can you see that? You see, whether it is someone in America, someone in India, you see, whatever their thoughts are, whatever their feelings are, you are the one who are those thoughts and those feelings, because they are all in your view. You see, whether it is sage Ramana, or it is the Rishi Master Bhyansa Duno, or we are talking about beings living in this physical sun, or we are talking about beings living in the central sun, which is at the center of our galaxy. They say that all these galaxies have got a central sun, which is the source of everything to them. And then all these central suns has got another central sun, you see, which is the source of the central sun of all these galaxies. So, you can imagine, you can think, you can feel as far as you go, but everything is within the view. All the beings of the spiritual world, all the archangels, the devas, you see, the beings of light, you see, in the super spiritual world, beyond the Atmic plane, see, all those are in the view. Look at it. Look at this very carefully. You see, not only is everything in the view, but because we are having this discussion, you have to think about this intuitively. Contemplate on this intuitively. Actually, you only are the one which is everyone's thought, everyone's feeling, everyone's desire. You are actually this, actually everyone. Why? Because you see, look at it, you never lost touch with who am I? I am the self. Because everything is in the view, everything is present in the view, nothing can escape from your light of consciousness. And as we have discussed, you only are everything that is there in the view, because everything is in your view. Look at it. That is why all the human beings are in your view, and there are 65 billion human souls, they say, and only 7.5 billion are present here. The rest are scattered wherever they are in the universe. But they are there in your view, in your thoughts, in your feelings. So you are actually all that. Whatever is in your view, you are actually that view. And this is such a simple exercise, such a simple thought, very profound though, very deep. I do agree with that. It requires contemplation, but this directly takes you to who you are. I am the self. I am the spaceless, timeless entity. So, my dear friends, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, I hope that I have put some ray of light in your spiritual journey to realizing your true nature. You will have to listen a few times to this video, contemplate on the many exercises which I have given, but rest assured, if Sage Ramana, if Rishi Master Bhyansa Duno, if Yog Vashisht, if Jesus, if Buddha realized their true nature and lived as normal human beings, so too you can also attain and achieve that. It's very much possible. It's very much possible here, and it is very much possible here in this physical body, in this physical plane. That is only where you have the opportunity to realize this. So with this, I thank you for your time. I thank you from the core of my spiritual heart for having given your time and listened to this video. Thank you. Hari Om. Bye bye. Namaskar. Once again, thank you for your time.